Did I sabotage my own chances of getting on America's Got Talent? Find the answer to that and more on This Ask Brian. Hello all my holomaniacs out there. Now I asked you to ask me lots of questions on all my social media places, and you guys did not disappoint. It took me hours to go through all of the questions that you guys asked. So I've picked my favorite ones, and now without further ado, it's time to answer them for you. Lillian Schuyler asks, what is your dream YouTube collab? Oh, my dream YouTube collab would have to be being on an episode of Good Mythical Morning. Like if Rhett and Link ever wanted to do like an impression battle or something, I could be there to facilitate and like train one of them or something. I think that would be a whole lot of fun. But, you know, I don't know if that ever happened because they're starting to get into like celebrities now. So I think us YouTubers are now kind of slim pickings for them. Jaw Jink asks, hey Brian, do you ever get stuck doing voices and can't stop? That happens more times than I would care to admit. You can ask any of my friends, after we see a movie that has a voice that I just love their voice, I'm stuck doing that voice for like the next hour, 2 hours. Haley Corcoran asks, Team Cap or Team Iron Man? I am definitely Team Iron Man. I know a lot of people are like, but Team Cap. But come on, let's be honest, Iron Man is way cooler than Captain America. Captain America's cool. He's cool. I have no issues with him, but Iron Man is way cooler. And I like what he said in the film where he's just like, if we don't set boundaries on ourselves, then we're no different than the bad guys. And I'm like, that's a really good point, dude. Jessica Lynn asks, what's your favorite cartoon growing up? I had two. There was Recess. I adored that show. And the other one was a show that I don't think most people knew about, but I had loved it. And it was The Jungle Cubs, which was the Jungle Book characters as kids and like seeing them grow up together. It only lasted a couple seasons, but I watched every episode I could of it. Sonia Rodriguez asks, what Disney princess do you feel would be your ideal princess to live happily ever after with? That would have to be hands down Ariel. I love her personality. Her curiosity is just so infectious. And I feel like if we were to be together, she would like show me all these things that I've never really looked at before. Cause I tend to be one of those guys who kind of gets into a rhythm and I like my life. I don't really like a whole lot of change, but I feel like she would like push me into places I've never been before. That'd be really cool. And she would just kind of help me like to experience the world. So Ariel. Corvax Vader asks, are you a Sith or Jedi? And what color would your lightsaber be? Obviously, I'm way too happy to be a Sith, so I would definitely be a Jedi. And my lightsaber color would be orange. Now, I've never seen an orange lightsaber in the series before, but I would make it happen. The Wallace88 asks, what is the source of your bottomless supply of joy? Jesus! He's the reason I do everything I do. Cat Ridge Cat asks, Moana or Zootopia? Now, let me premise this by saying both films are amazing, and I love both of them tremendously. But if I had to pick, it would actually be Moana. I know that's weird because typically my favorite Disney movies are all the animal-based ones, but Moana was just, they did such a good job with it. You're welcome. Christmas Thorn asks, what do you think about Disney making live-action movies of all their old films? I kind of have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, these are amazing classics and they're beautiful the way they are. But on the other hand, I've seen that in the public's eye, if something is typically older, it's harder for them to latch onto and they may miss some of these great stories. So I like it on the hand that it brings an old film to a new audience's eye and maybe they'll go back and appreciate the older film better. But then on the other hand, they're all pretty amazing as they are now. So as long as they do it right, I'm okay with them. If they do it wrong, ooh, that's not gonna be pretty. Teresa Green asks, will you go on America's Got Talent? Now I know I've answered this question before, and I wasn't gonna bring it back up except for the fact that so many people have written in still asking me to do the show. And I even had people write in after I said I wasn't gonna do it, and they were like, oh, well, I'm sure if they ever asked Brian, he would totally do it. Well, the fact is they have asked. A lot. And the answer is still no. But I gotta hand it to America's Got Talent. Their agents are relentless. Let me tell you a little story. Back like 3 years ago whenever I posted Let It Go, the first day I was approached by someone from America's Got Talent, like they emailed me, and then the next couple days I got emailed by about 3 or 4 more. And I just politely ignored them all just because I'm like, you know what, that's not my thing. I just don't want to deal with that. And then one lady, she was bound and determined to get me on this show. So she figured out every avenue to contact me. And eventually I talked to her just because she was driving me nuts. And I was just gonna answer the phone and tell her politely, no, I'm not interested. Please stop contacting me. But then I had a thought. If they're this relentless just to get in touch with me, how relentless would they be if I told them no, but they still wanted me? I had a feeling that it'd be like every year they would call me and be like, you ready to go now? No. Ready to go now? No. How about this year? No. So I thought I would play something a little tricky, that I would make them not want me. So I tried to sabotage my own chances of getting on the show. So she was like, okay, I need you to make a video of yourself doing something similar, but change all of this stuff for copyright reasons and blah, 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 blah. Make us a video and send it to me and I'll send it to my superiors to see if we want you. So this is when I got all sneaky. So I'm like, okay. So here's what I did. I made the video, but I made it as awful as I possibly could. I got my worst camera with my worst microphone in the worst place to film with the worst possible song to do impressions to with some of my worst impressions. And to this day, I cannot watch the video all the way through because of how awful it is. So I sent it off to him, and as I predicted, I heard nothing back. So I thought I was pretty hot stuff. Then a year and a half later, they wrote back and they were like, hey, you still want to make this happen? And I'm like, no, I thought I got rid of you. So now I just tell them no, and I've had to tell them multiple times no now. And even Britain's Got Talent wrote me a couple times, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not from the UK. Why do you guys ask? Now, there's a lot of reasons why I won't do the show, but it's not like I have some vendetta against it where it's just like, oh, America's Got Talent is such an awful show, me. It's mainly just because there's a lot of politics with the show, and like there are some contractual obligations that in the long run may actually hurt my career more than it would help based on some other contractual obligations that I'm already in. So that's the main reason I'm not gonna do it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to ask your question, just hashtag Ask Brian in your question so that I can find it. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!